Hello guys, I'm here with Andrea. Hello.
Hi,
How are you?
very good. It's actually evening in Romania, so had a
Oh
long day
yeah.
already.
So thank you for being here. And could you start by introducing yourself?
Yeah, I'm Andrea. I'm a scout in Romania. As I mentioned, I'm 23 at the moment. And I just moved back. I was at university in the Netherlands, so just finished a degree in human rights. And I do a lot of work that has to do with human rights and young people at the European level, in part of the European Youth Forum. So that's me in short. And I'm a Rover Scout as well.
And how did you become a scout?
So I wanted, so actually, I joined the Scouts in high school because I wanted to climb the mountains. And so I was trying to find groups of people who do that, funnily enough. So my reason has not been very serious of joining the Scouts. But since then, I joined and I realized that they do much more than climbing the mountains, obviously. And it's been history. I mean, I started getting involved and doing different projects at the local, national, and international level. So it's been a great journey so far. But I started in 2017. So almost 8, 9 years ago, almost.
Could you tell us what a typical activity day would be in Romania? Like what do scouts do usually in Romania?
Uh, what do scouts do usually in Romania? Well, in my local group, for example, in high school, we would have weekly activities. So we would gather together and do activities with the leader. And then sometimes we would have gatherings in nature. So each different season, we would have one in spring, one in summer, and then autumn and winter. And depending on the season, sometimes we would have them together with all age groups. So, for example, during the summer and then during the winter. But sometimes in spring and in autumn, we would just go together with my age group and try to do something more age specific. And this is, for example, what we do regularly in my scout group. And also, we have some specific activities that we organize with a national organization. So there is some national camps that happen every single year. And these are very, very fun for scouts. But we do actually have a very special scout event that is unique to Romania, which is called the Lights Festival. And it started off more than 10 years ago in a city in the central part of Romania. And basically, every year, in almost all cities where you have scouts, we light up the city, the park, with like some small origami called gulguțe. And you put a candle inside, they're recycled, and you just light up whole pathways. You do different, like, how to say, arrangements that are very colorful and lighted. And then you also have workshops for the community. And the whole idea behind it is to kind of bring back to the community and try to be happy about the little things in life. So it's actually open for everyone. And for example, in Bucharest, you sometimes have tens of thousands of people just attending. And it's really, really beautiful.
And but where exactly is your scout group? Because you mentioned Bucharest, but where is it?
Yeah, my scout group is Cabana Scout, and it's in Bucharest, in the capital city of
Oh yeah,
Romania,
yeah.
which is
Okay.
somewhere southeast. Romania is
Okay.
shaped like a fish. It's kind of close to the tail somewhere.
I see the fish, yeah.
Yeah.
You also mentioned the age ranges, right? How many age ranges are there in Romania, and how are the scouts divided?
So I think you have the most popular ones, the four ones. You start with the cubs, the smallest ones. But in Romania, they are called like lupișori, which is little wolves, translated into English.
Okay.
And they have this beautiful yellow scarf. And then you go on to the venturers, which is temerari, exactly venturers. And they're usually like middle school aged, so fifth to eighth grade, and they have these green scarves. And then you go on to the explorers, which is the high school age range, which is the one I joined initially, and they have a blue scarf. So I do think when we first met each other, I was an explorer a long time ago. And then as you go into the rovers, which is 18 to 24, so it's a wide age range, you have a violet scarf. And then you can become a leader, which is like not burgundy, it's kind of a cherry scarf. And what I have around my neck is the national scarf, which is blue with white. So this is also how we differentiate the different age groups. We just have different scarves. But I remember it was really, really different in Brazil, wasn't it? Like with shirts or.
And but actually, we do have something with the colors and similar colors because the Cubs we use yellow, but usually for the badges, like especially the
Mm.
badges are yellow. Um, what was the next one you said? The Ventures?
Yeah.
Yeah, the green. We use green for the badges as well. Explorers, we use it's we don't like to say it that it's pink, but most of the time the color comes out as being pink. And for the rovers, it's red. But we use the same scarf, so this is from the scout group. We use the same scarf, just the badges are different. And actually, now in September, we are officially starting a new section that comes before the Cubs. So something like the Beavers in Canada or other countries, and they're going to be orange. It's going to be their color. Yeah,
Oh,
but
congratulations.
I haven't met any of those yet.
Me neither, actually. It's not officially a branch in Romania, but I think there are maybe one or two or just a few local groups who are piloting the idea for beavers.
Mhm.
So this has been a topic, but and it's also orange colored, but it's not really an age group officially. Yeah.
Uh, what about the Scout motto in Romania? What is it? What does it translate to?
It's Gata oricând. So you say Gata oricând. I actually have it here on the on the
Yeah.
shirt. It's translated as, I don't know, I always say it's just be prepared, but it's kind of always ready. So somehow like ready at any time, if you really want to translate it like that.
So I know you have, but if you could tell us about any of the national or maybe international scout activities that you've participated, any good experiences you've had, something you've learned.
Well, I did participate in quite a few of those. I think more national events when I was an explorer. And then when I started becoming a rover, I actually started also my international journey a bit more. Um, some really good experiences I had with Roverway and Moot, really. So the events as a rover have been really, really, really nice. And I just got back. I was this August in Portugal for the World Scout Moot, which was a really lovely experience. Meeting with
Nice.
rovers from all over the world, and in Portugal, where it was really beautiful. And some good memories, I think. For some reason, every single time I attended an international event, something exceptional happened. We had too much heat, or this year we had some wildfires, many, many things. But I think one of the things that really impressed me is the resilience that we all had. So, for example, I was together with all these young people from across the world, including Brazil. I had some Brazilian scouts. So, if you guys are watching this, hi. Um,
You will be watching.
and,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I hope so. I will send them the link. But whatever happened, we were just so resilient together and we found ways to have fun regardless. So we had some hikes cut short and we had to figure out what to do instead. And we had to adapt to many things that were out of our control. But I think this is what I found as a really good experience ultimately. We were just feeling good together and we were hyping each other up, which I think is also like at the basis of scouting and what it should teach us. So it was a really nice moment, I think, for many of us to be like, okay, wow, the method has been working. We are fine adults, I guess. We can handle different things. So I've come back with a lot of energy to just, get more involved also at the local level because I've been away for 1 year at university and I've been a bit disconnected to what's happening on the local level, but more so to the international. And generally, because I was mentioning in the beginning the European Youth Forum, which is a separate organization. It's an umbrella platform for youth organizations in Europe, where different national youth councils, which are on their own networks, and also international organizations like the Scouts in Europe are members. So Scouting actually led me to join the platform. I'm not representing Scouts directly, but I do a lot of work with representatives of the Scouting movement, advocating for non-formal education and things like that. So I do attend a lot of international events, which are conferences or debates or dialogues with policymakers. But it's nice to always go back to the roots and remind myself why it matters to do the advocacy at the international level. Because you have the activities at the local level and they need the space and the resources and the tools and all of that. So this is a longer answer for you on what I've been up to but these past years.
So, what advice would you give to our Scout viewers?
What advice? To just use scouting, I think, as your safe space to try out ideas. I think it's the most important, and this is also what I try to tell everyone in my scout group at all times. The best decision I ever made is just to try out different projects or crazy ideas I had, and to try to also find the mentors or adults around you to help you out. So, for example, when I was in high school, I made some friends in another city in Romania, in Craiova, and we just decided we want to see each other more. So we did an event together in their city and then in our city, which was also attended by other local groups of scouts. But the idea just started out as we want to hang out more, and then we kind of got the tools and the space from our leaders, which were amazing. And we got supported to do all these big events together because we were guided. And I mean, it was well organized for some 17-year-olds. Could have been better if I do it now, but I think it was the right space for us. And, things like that just start from an idea like, sometimes it can be that you're mad that you don't have benches in your local bus stop, and then you find ways to do a project. Maybe you talk to the municipality, you find a solution, or things like that. The sky is the limit, but we just need to try and use the scouting to put into practice our ideas. Because in a way, also if you fail in scouting, it's much easier than in the outside world, because here you still have other people that can help you out and you can have this learning component that is very, very important. So this is definitely something to have the courage to just test out different ideas.
It's a safe place where you can make mistakes and you have the support of people to help you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, do you remember when we met each other first time at the World Scout Youth Forum?
Yeah. And that was a first for everybody because of the pandemic, right? Nobody was ready to do what we were doing there. And still we were
Yeah,
helping each other and everything worked out. Yeah.
exactly. Like, maybe, so don't change the subject now, but you've been amazing. I think you were a host for the first time there, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for my presentation. And I was then a candidate for youth advisors for the World Scout Committee. But why did I bring this into the discussion now is also because that was one of the moments where you could say I failed, but it was a very valuable learning experience because if I didn't have the experience of being a candidate in scouting, I couldn't, I think, manage now to be so involved in the European Youth Forum and find other ways, to be involved and to be an active young person. So sometimes it works out, sometimes we learn together. And on top of that, we have a nice friendship now. I mean, we've been keeping in touch for a long time.
So I think everything worked out for the best.
Yeah, I also think so. And it's amazing to look back today.
Well, thank you for much for coming to answer our questions so people can get to know a little bit more about Scouts in Romania. Uh, if you have any other comments, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I actually, I know you had this other project with the scout groups across the world. And I wanted to actually, before I go, to also let you know very fast about this opportunity to come to Nokrih International Scout Center in Romania. So it's a very cool place in the middle of Transylvania. It's a scout group in a fortified village. And they're also the only scout group that uses pottery as an education tool for the community. So you can find it on social media. And they're actually, like at Kandersteg, they have like volunteers that come all year round. And they also have their own camps. So they just finished the summer camp. And we had also like scouts coming from Latin America, from all corners of the world to volunteer. So do check it out. It would be lovely to have you there. I mean, you as well, but also your viewers.
Yeah. Thank you so much and see you next time.
Thank you. See you.